Thursday here in Berea, Browns preparing for the Cowboys, and Amari Cooper spoke to us for the first time, Mary Kay, since he was involved in those Brandon Aiyuk trade rumors. I was actually a little surprised this is the first time we've heard from Amari since those really came to a head in August. But hearing Amari talk today, he kind of played off that Instagram post. He didn't really... I guess he didn't seem offended, but what did you think of what Amari had to say about being involved in those rumors?
Well, he did not admit that his LOL, I wouldn't mind at all, had anything to do whatsoever with those trade rumors that he would be swapped for Brandon Aiyuk and he would go to San Francisco, Aiyuk would come here. So he would not admit that. He said, that's up to the media. You know, we like to sensationalize things. So that's where he went with that. In terms of the trade whatsoever, he just really would not go there. He said it's neither here nor there, how he felt about it. So that was that. And then as far as facing his former Cowboys team, he really downplayed that as well. They, of course, traded him here for just a 5th-round pick. He's been amazing, and he wasn't about to touch that either.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing he said was just talking about CeeDee Lamb and being happy for a former teammate getting an extension, Ashley. But Amari... this has sort of been the downplaying everything week for a lot of guys, and Amari, I guess, falls into that camp today.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I thought I'll pick the word to describe him, what I thought is maybe a bit prickly when he got asked about those trade rumors. You know, I don't think it was rolling off his back in the same way things were in that interview at the Greenbrier, which was the last time we heard from him before any of this happened, and he was talking about his holdout in the spring, and to me, it just was a different tone, that interview versus this one. So I am really curious to see what he's going to look like out there, obviously, for his season, because the one thing we know about Amari, and he talked about this today, he's had to learn that, hey, this is all part of the business at this point, and he is always the guy that's going to go out there and do his job no matter what. But I'm sure, even if he won't admit it, it would mean a bit more to do it against one of the teams that traded him away in his career.
Now, our left tackle update of the day. We should make it just a segment here on our video. Jedrick Wills did not practice today, so he had returned to practice on Wednesday, just did some individual work. He was not at practice today. So again, Mary Kay, we continue to look at the idea of either Jack Conklin or James Hudson III starting at left tackle.
Right. With Jed walking off today at the start of practice, it really seems like it would be a reach or a stretch for him to play at all on Sunday. Of course, they're keeping it a big, big mystery. We don't really know anything for sure at this point, but it does seem like it will either be Jack starting or James starting. I would say Jack at this point, but who knows? Maybe those guys will both get some playing time.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Even Jed on Wednesday, when he said that he wasn't starting, he didn't rule out playing in that game. Now, obviously, today's developments might change that, but I did think that was interesting, Ashley, because it does leave the door open for, okay, we're going to put one guy out there. Maybe if we don't like what we see, or maybe if we just want to try somebody else out, we're going to throw another guy out there too.
Yeah, I talked to James Hudson today for that reason. I think as the week has worn on, we're like, hey, this is a possibility that he could play some significant snaps in this game. And I did think it was interesting to kind of hear him talk about his summer overall and how one of the big things he learned about himself as a player is he's now way more confident playing on either side of the line, which we know they've really been trying to train him in that swing tackle role ever since they drafted him a few years ago. And he told me he's ready. Of course, wouldn't give anything away, no parts of the game plan, wouldn't say whether he's starting at left tackle. I did try to get it out of him, though.
Now, I was listening to a podcast today, and they were ranking the top 5 edge rushers. One guy had Micah Parsons 1, Myles Garrett 2. The other guy, Myles Garrett 1, Micah Parsons 2. Mary Kay, those two are going to share the field on Sunday, and Micah Parsons was not shy about what he wants to accomplish in this game.
Not at all. He had some very strong comments yesterday about the fact that he wants to prove that he is the best dude out there, meaning, of course, that he's going to have a better day than Myles Garrett. And over the past couple of months, he actually has kind of responded to Myles being ranked higher than him by a couple of entities, a couple of outlets. And I think it's starting to get to him. I think he wants to show people that that he is the best edge rusher in the NFL. What a better place to do that than on the national stage on Sunday.
And we talked about this with Myles last year. It sort of felt like it was becoming his turn to win Defensive Player of the Year. I'm sure Micah Parsons is sitting there saying, hey, it's my turn to win Defensive Player of the Year. And it's a chance on Sunday, Ashley, for him to steal some of those headlines, make that announcing team talk about him instead of Myles.
Yeah, and hey, I remember last year, obviously, all those advanced analytics we used to look at pass rushing, and Myles Garrett was second in double team rate and pass rush win rate, and the same guy was ahead of him in both of those categories, and it was Micah Parsons, which I believe he himself has even pointed out at least 1 point. So I'm really excited to see him in this environment after hearing those quotes. I'm curious to see what Myles Garrett is going to say tomorrow if we have a chance to talk to him. But I'll be especially curious about that tone he takes. Is he going to kind of brush it off like we saw Amari do today, or is he going to add some fuel to the fire?
Well, we know this. Both guys are going to make life miserable on both of the quarterbacks on Sunday when they go against them, two of the best edge rushers in all of football. We'll cover everything leading up to the game itself, the aftermath, all of it at cleveland.com/Browns.